sports. It's in the game. And hopefully we will be on the right side of gambling this upcoming weekend. It was technically a 6-5 week. To recap last week, which is okay, I guess. I mean, you're not losing anything. I think at worst, depending on what odds you got, you probably broke out even. Where I was at, if you were able to get the numbers that I was getting as far as, just being kind of earlier in the week, you probably came out at least a half a unit up, and depending on how you played the hedge play, maybe even ended up like a whole unit up. Just a quick recap of those guys today. We'll go over last week's picks, kind of where we were at with maybe some handicapping, but also take a look into next week and where we maybe see some value. I'll tell you right now, it's probably going to be a lighter week, combination of two things. So one, a big bye week for a lot of teams, so that's going to kind of cut into it. We also have a lot of injuries that have come up this week, and it's hard to use any sort of algorithm with so many injuries. And I can tell you that is one thing I have noticed with both the algorithms I use and with the variations that I've been using as we get into the year, that it is very difficult to determine not only how much playing time a backup is going to get, if they're going to split work or what they're going to do, what type of performance they're going to give us, on top of also then predicting what is the coach thinking. A lot of times the coach is going to totally change up his game plan to suit the personnel that he has, which makes sense, but that also is putting us in a predicament where maybe myself or other cappers are trying to kind of predict what this coach is going to do and what makes sense against the defense that they're given. And some coaches, have a really good track record of, hey, we're going to take what they're giving us, like Bill Belichick. And honestly, this year, and I'm not saying this because I like the Cowboys, but I'm just really surprised at how well the Cowboys have been willing to adjust their game plan to what the defense is giving them. If you go back and watch that first week, obviously they are very pass heavy. I'm sure everybody remembers that. And at the time, we all said, oh, well, it's because the Buccaneers were shutting down the run, and that's true. But in years past, that's not how they would have played this. Mike McCarthy, this is only his second year, so maybe last year was kind of just like a learning curve for him. But even before that, with guys like Jason Garrett were at the helm, they were going to run the ball no matter who they were playing against. They weren't adjusting a damn thing. They were going to do what they do and see, how well they can execute. This year, I have seen them adjust more to what these defenses, if a defense is weak against the run game, they're going to run it. If they're weak in the secondary, they're going to pass it. If their tight ends happen to be the best threat against a certain defense, they're going to use them. And some of that is just that their offense is very potent, but other portions of that is that whether it's Kellen Moore or McCarthy or a combination of the two, they're willing to just take what the defense is giving them and not try to be hard-headed into just, hey, we're going to just do what we like to do and, screw whatever the defense is doing. So that's a really good sign. But, again, getting off topic here, trying to predict what other coaches are going to do in these situations is very difficult because you may think and you may feel like, hey, this is really the right move. Maybe they should really go to this receiver or they should really try to utilize like a 12 personnel kind of standpoint. And then the coach comes out and does something entirely different. For whatever reason, sometimes I'm sure there's no reason. He's just doing it. It's, again, makes a lot of this very hard to handicap. So all of that plus these last 2 weeks while we've been coming out ahead just slightly, I want to kind of take a step back, retool, and get this kind of ship even more so in the positive direction, if you're following what I'm saying here. 6-5 is fine, but that's not something I want to be doing long term. That's very just razor thin margins. We're really going for more of like a 8-2 kind of week. If we're laying 10 plays out there, so all of that goes into just a recap. So Cowboys -3 at the Patriots. That was the first pick I gave last week. And I felt really confident about that one. And I'll be damned if the Cowboys did not try to give that thing up every single just play of the game. It seemed like they were trying to give up this game. And they turned it over twice in the end zone. On top of that, they gave the Patriots like almost a free damn touchdown to begin the game by going for it on 4th and 1 at like their own 30. Yes, the game was close. Yes, it was overtime. Yes, the Cowboys covered. All of that is true. The game did not have to be that close. The Cowboys were shooting themselves in the foot. They're going into their bye week. Hopefully they retool, just kind of get down all these execution issues that I've seen, and Dak maybe gets healthy off of his walking boot or whatever the hell he has. The good news is they didn't have to pay for a second walking boot. They just used the same one he had last year. Next, Broncos Raiders under 44.5. This is a game where I actually did say the Raiders reaction game was last week. Or I'm sorry, not last week, the week before. And the reaction to Gruden, that is. And I did not think that they were going to come out here and be totally lost and suck and lose, or that they were going to get blown out by the Broncos because of this Gruden news. And like I said, this is not something that was new to them. They had already been dealing with it for a week, and everything went pretty much according to plan, other than the Raiders scored way more than I thought they were. I thought the Broncos were going to give us a better defensive showing, and all my algorithms and things had it all capped as a lower scoring game, and the Broncos just kept giving up play after play to the Raiders, and they ended up going over, so that kind of bit us in the ass. But the good news is the other side of that, which we had the Raiders +9, ended up not even needing the plus points, but we do get our tees covered with the Raiders +9 at the Broncos, and then the second leg of that was the Bucks -1 at the Eagles. So both of those did hit, so we got that tease down. Vikings at the Panthers, that's another one that kind of the process was right, result was wrong. First of all, we thought we were going to get McCaffrey back in this game. We didn't know he was going to the injured reserve. But aside from that, it just seemed like the Panthers, every time they took a step forward, they took 2 steps back. They even blocked a punt. And at that point, you think, okay, come on, like these guys should at least, at least get the cover if they don't get the money line pick. But yeah, for whatever reason, these guys just don't know how to close games without Christian McCaffrey, and I get it. Obviously, he's a great player, and he's worth some points. If he was on that field, I do think they win, but it is what it is. So we don't get that win there. Next was the Texans Colts under 44, and this is a game where we got some take on both sides. So I had initially put out Texans Colts under 44. That covered. Really wasn't in too much concern because the Texans were just not able to do a damn thing in the game, and the Colts were running all over them, exactly what we expected, exactly how we thought this was going to go down. I did, however, hedge by taking the Texans Colts over 37.5 and another teaser, because I did think, looking at just everything on paper, that if the Texans could get just a few points, just 1 or 2 scoring drives, that we would get that cover at the over 37.5, because I did expect the Colts to put up a pretty big day on their own. And that was true. They ended up, I think the total was like 33 points or something like that. So we were just 4 points away, or 5 points away, I guess, from covering that. But at the end of the day, it was just the Texans could not do anything. I really thought this was a good spot for them. The Colts were going to be one of the weakest defenses they had played so far this year, and they should have been able to at least put up a touchdown on them. And this goes back to even the week before when I was saying that the Patriots should not have been in as close of a game as they were with the Texans. And again, if you've been watching these videos for a little bit now, I was even saying last week that the Texans really got bailed out by the Patriots just constantly shooting themselves in the foot. I remember watching that game. The Patriots could not get off the field for the first drive. They didn't challenge it on like a third down conversion that was maybe a little bit short. And then after that, it was just like a hold on a third down, a pass interference on a third down, a false start on a third down. And they just kept letting the Texans drive down the field. It took over half the first quarter, but the Texans got a touchdown. And I want to say it was the first touchdown they'd had in the first quarter since Tyrod was playing. So the Texans, just not that good of an offense. And if they don't get bailed out with penalties and you don't give them good field position, they're almost like useless. It's hard for them to do anything if you don't like just give them the score. So anyways, so that hedge didn't count, or the hedge did not cover, I should say, just based on the inability of the Texans offense, really. So we got the loss on that end of it. Next, so we have another tease that did cover. It was the Texans at Colts -3. So again, same game. Colts beat the hell out of Texans. Again, pretty much what we thought was going to happen. The only thing that I did not, I guess, take into consideration, or that we didn't, I guess I should say that I kind of regret doing, was teasing this game. I had been saying for a while that the Colts were going to have a good spot, and then once they got out of that tough part of their schedule, that they were going to start looking really good, really fast. It's exactly what happened. Like I said, I overestimated the Texans' ability to move the ball at all, and because of that, they were not able to even keep this game close. And the -3, again, obviously we cover, but we could have just taken the -9. And again, something we just need to keep in mind moving forward, that the Texans, if they're not playing a team that is going to give up, dumb rookie mistakes, probably can't count on them to really do a whole lot of anything. Next, though, the other leg of that tease was the Chiefs -0.5 point against Washington. The tease, again, there, we didn't need it. That is something I think a lot of people were on, was just the Chiefs like -7. And I'm not going to say that it wasn't a right play, because it hit, so obviously that was fine. But if you watch the first half of that game, that was a lot closer, scarier than you would like to have it. It just seemed like the Chiefs could not get anything rolling in that first half, and that's been an ongoing theme for them. The first half of games, they just consistently start slow. It seems like they're always getting in their own way, and then something happens at halftime, or maybe they're just playing with more urgency in the second half. But you would think at this point, like, guys, you're not the same juggernauts you were 2 years ago. From the last Super Bowl to now, you actually have like a losing record, or like a 500 record. You would think they'd come out with some urgency, like, hey, let's put these teams away early. Let's not wait until the fourth quarter, but they didn't. Again, very lucky it worked out that Washington is another one of these teams that just really can't do a whole lot on offense if you are not giving them free plays. So a couple teams, guys, that I've kind of noticed already, I'm sure a lot of you have. I'm not breaking any news here, but when it comes to the Texans, Washington, and the Patriots, if you are not giving them the play, if you are not making mistakes, they're not going to score, or they're not going to be very high scoring in general. If you watch the last game with the Cowboys, the Patriots, again, they got gifted that first touchdown because they took over on the 30-yard line, and then after that it was like no offense whatsoever. And then at the end, when they had that little explosion, the Cowboys got burned for that long pass. Whether you say it was Trayvon Diggs or it was a safety or whatever, it doesn't matter, honestly. At the end of the day, it's a touchdown. So there was a breakdown in coverage somewhere. And again, just a lot of mistakes by the Cowboys, bad turnovers, bad flags, and just helping the Patriots stay in that game and giving them good field position and letting them score and kind of keeping their hope alive. So those three teams, guys, if they are not getting help from the other side of the ball, they're just not going to put up a lot of points. But to transition off of that, a team that I actually like to watch that actually can play offense and actually knows like how to catch and throw a football is the Rams. And the Rams -9.5 at the Giants. I was saying I had that game capped at 14 last week, and they just blew the doors off the Giants. That thing wasn't even close. Cover was pretty much in hand by the time we got to halftime. Next was Dolphins at the Jaguars, and that one was in London. The Dolphins, again, this mistake-prone team. Things just were not breaking their way. Jaguars took advantage of it. Jaguars get their first win. Good for the Jaguars. Dolphins, it's going to be really hard to back them until I see that they are a serious team that's not going to give up mistakes that cost them the game. And lastly here, we did have the prop that hit, and that was Quez Watkins over 40.5 yards, 40.5 receiving yards, and that was a Thursday night game with the Eagles. And that did hit, but man, that was a lot closer than it needed to be too. I think he ended with like 43 yards. So whether you get the 40.5 or 41.5 yards, either way you hit. But he should have had really 4 catches. But Jalen Hurts just either didn't put the pass in the right spot or he couldn't come down with it. And so the 2 that he didn't catch, one of them was for a touchdown. The other one was just like a longer pass that ended up going out of bounds. And the 2 that he did catch, one of them was fine. One of them was just like a normal, regular in-route catch. But the other one, the one that actually put him over the prop, was like, I don't want to say a circus catch. It wasn't like an Odell Beckham catch or anything like that. But it was tough. Not every receiver can make that catch. It was on the sideline. He was toe tapping. And damn, it was a lot harder than it needed to be. And I think Jalen Hurts ended up with like 12 completed passes for the game. Like, oh my God, that's another offense. It's hard to watch. And if you notice, all of these teams, all of them, they are so conservative. They play so scared until the fourth quarter when they're like, oh shit, we're down. We should probably get going on offense. Let's actually throw the ball more than 5 yards away from the line of scrimmage. And, oh my God, it works. They can actually move the ball. A lot of these teams just really need to get more aggressive earlier. Stop waiting until the fourth quarter. Stop waiting until you're down. On that note, the Chargers are also kind of in that mold. I had a couple of people ask me if I thought the Chargers were a good teaser leg last week. And I thought that they were going to be, guys. Everything was capped that way. Everything was just kind of leaning in their direction to at least get the cover at the 3, not even the teased cover. But what I had known and I just didn't really take into consideration as much as I maybe should have was that eventually their 3rd and 4th downs were just gonna come back to bite them in the ass. It just seems like, again, and they don't wait to the fourth quarter, but they're waiting until the 3rd and 4th down, and it's great. You've probably seen the stats that are like, oh, Justin Herbert's so awesome at 3rd down conversions. He's so good at it. They're good at 4th down conversions. Staley, he's not scared to go for it on 4th downs. This is amazing. I mean, that's good. Like, yeah, you should be willing to go for it on 4th downs a lot of the time. But you shouldn't play like we're trying to get to 4th down. It just seems like 1st and 2nd down, he takes his automatic, like, hey, let's just get 2 yards here. We want to get into a 3rd and 6. That's our optimal position. No, the hell it's not, dude. If you can get a 15-yard pass on 3rd and 4th down, do that shit on 1st down. Keep the ball moving. Keep the sticks moving. I have no idea why they are waiting until it's 3rd and 6 to say, oh, hey, Justin, go ahead and make a pass for us. Dude, get that shit going on the 1st down. Keep it going. Stop putting your young quarterback in these bad positions. Stop putting your defense in a position to have to stop these passes but giving up huge runs because of your style. Look, that's fine. If you want the other offense to be a running team and you're saying, hey, look, we're going to give you the run all day, that strategy works. We saw it work with the Chiefs last year and the year before that. The problem with the Chargers is the Chiefs were getting out with leads. The Chiefs consistently had a lead by halftime. And that's what you need to do. If you are not leading in the game, you can't give up the runs because that's what the other team wants to do. If they're already ahead, yeah, they want to run. They want to milk the clock. So you need to get out and build a lead if you're going to play that kind of style of defense. Anyways, that's all behind us now. Again, 6-5 week. You're probably up like a half a unit from that week. That's at least where I was at for the year. We're now 32-20-2. Up 10 units for the year. Again, like I said, this week is going to probably be a little bit of a lighter week. One of the games I was looking at was the Broncos and the Browns, and I don't have a pick for this one just yet, and it's actually been taken off the board for the most part. A lot of it is just there's so many damn injuries in this game, predominantly on the Browns side, but Kareem Hunt is out. They lost a linebacker. He's going to be out. I think he's going to be on the injured reserve. Baker Mayfield still nursing that shoulder injury. Nick Chubb may or may not be back. Their 2 offensive tackles are both out. This injury after injury for the Browns, so they're not even putting up a line on this one. I want to get right to it, guys. The Lions and Rams, I like the Rams in this game, but I'm waiting for the handicap to see if it matches the number. I do think I'm going to end up probably teasing this. Like I said last week, this is a good spot for the Rams. They have all the advantages working in their direction. They're going to know how to take advantage of Jared Goff. That Sean McVay, at least, is going to know how to beat the hell out of Jared Goff. The Rams are going to win this game. It's not going to be an issue. The 15 points is just a little high. So I'd like to get it down under 10 if I can. But again, I'm going to handicap it more thoroughly before I put any money on that. This is another thing, guys, this week. Usually I come out really early Monday morning and I'm laying money down and putting picks down. And that's fine. Usually towards the beginning of the year. But right now, with so many injuries and so many things going on, not only do I kind of want to give that some time to settle, but I also want to maybe take a little bit of a longer look at the line moves. And then secondly, I want to really get into very specific, very detailed handicapping on like 5 or 6 games instead of trying to take a look at the whole board. And that's because right now, again, with all these different variances, we got to really be sure on certain things before we put any money down. The other game that I like but haven't put anything on yet is the Colts, the 49ers. I actually like the Colts, or I like them more, and it was +4. It's down to +3 right now. The 49ers, last time we saw them, just could not get anything going on the ground. They're playing really conservatively. They're trying to run through Trey Lance, who's just making a lot of rookie mistakes. The Colts can take advantage of that, but their defense is not as great as we may like to think that it is, even with Darius Leonard. What I have done in this game is I have played the over. So the over 44 on the Colts 49ers is going to be the first pick. Again, going back to what I said last week, the Colts are in a position to where they can put up points by themselves. I am fully expecting them to put up like 30 points on their own and have a good rushing attack. The 49ers have not been able to stop the run all year. The Colts should be able to keep the ball going, should be able to put up some points. Hopefully T.Y. Hilton can at least, stay above water and kind of help move the ball a little bit. Carson Wentz has been playing better. Again, their schedule has kind of gotten them battle-tested for this. The 49ers, on the other hand, are coming off their bye week. They should have a good game plan for how to move the ball in the Colts. And the Colts defense, again, doesn't really have anybody that can match up with guys like Debo and Ayuk and George Kittle. Schematically, I think the 49ers should be able to move the ball. So while the side is maybe a little iffy for me, I am taking the over in this game. And again, I got it at over 44. Depending on what book you're at, you might still be able to get that over 44 at like -120, -130. So if you can, I would definitely do that. I'd buy that point down. Lastly, though, is the Patriots Jets. So I did play both of these. I played the Patriots -7 and the Patriots under 42. Jets, Patriots, obviously together, under 42. When I handicap this game, I have the Patriots winning by about 11 points. And this portion of the handicapping has been pretty, on par, and it's actually been really close as far as numbers are concerned. But DVOA, defensive, offensive, quarterback ratings, home field advantage, and even giving the Jets a little bit of a bump because of their bye week, we have the Patriots as 11-point favorites. Going off of the grading expectation and EDSR, we have this coming out to about a 21-10 kind of game, which gives us a total of 32, which gives us room for an extra touchdown. I mean, it really gives us 9 extra points there, so it gives you room for an extra touchdown, like 3 field goals, however you want to lay that out. But I do like the under in that one, and the Patriots -7. The last time these guys played was 25-6. One thing that I do want to let you know about that is that usually when a team plays and they win the first game, the second time they play, the team who lost will actually come back and win. And I have the numbers here. So if they play, like let's say that you played this week, there's a bye week, and then they play again, the loser of the first game actually comes back and wins 74% of the time, and they cover the spread 70% of the time. These numbers here are from the winner of game 1. So it's the inverse. Week 5, though, so 5 weeks away, which is exactly what this is. The Patriots and Jets played 5 weeks ago. In this particular situation, the winner of game 1 from 5 weeks ago wins 69% of the time and covers against the spread 58% of the time. This little trend here is something I like to look at, but I'm not going to take it, as gold. But that in conjunction with my handicapping with the fact that both these teams are playing very conservatively. The Patriots want to run. They want to do heavy personnel. The Jets have not really proven to do anything. The Patriots do have a decent defense, especially against the pass, and the Jets are really probably the strongest at the receiving core. And again, we do get Belichick at the second opportunity to go against a young rookie quarterback. Like it all the way around, guys. So it's 2 picks in this game. Again, Patriots -7, Jets and Patriots together under 42. Those are the picks for now, guys. Like I said, there are some others I'm looking to add, but again, it's probably going to be like a 5-pick maximum week this week. But thanks again. Hopefully you learned something. Good luck out there tonight if you have any fantasy or bets or anything on the Monday night game. But thanks again. Have a great day.